The bouquet of sunflowers sat innocently on Marcus Wright's desk, brightening the otherwise sterile corporate environment, until CEO Victoria Stone spotted them. Her face transformed from professional composure to something darker as she approached his cubicle. "Who sent these?" she demanded, her voice cutting through the office silence. Marcus looked up, confused by both her attention and her tone. After 3 years of being practically invisible to her, he couldn't understand why flowers from his 8-year-old daughter would trigger such a visceral reaction from the woman who ran the company. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more emotional workplace dramas that explore the unexpected connections we make in our everyday lives. Marcus Wright had perfected the art of invisibility at Pinnacle Enterprises. As a mid-level accountant and single father to Emma, he kept his head down, did exceptional work, and left precisely at 5 p.m. every day to pick up his daughter from after-school care. His colleagues respected his quiet competence, but to Victoria Stone, the formidable CEO who had transformed Pinnacle into an industry leader, he was just another face in a sea of employees. Victoria had built her reputation on being brilliant, demanding, and utterly focused on results. At 36, she had already graced the covers of business magazines as one of the youngest female CEOs in the industry. What those glossy photos didn't capture was her isolation. The price of success was a life where relationships took a distant second place to corporate achievements. The morning Emma had insisted on sending flowers to her dad's office for his birthday marked the collision of these two separate worlds. "Daddy deserves something special at work," Emma had declared to her Aunt Jen, who had helped the little girl order the arrangement. The bright yellow sunflowers, Marcus's favorite because they reminded him of Emma's smile, arrived with a handwritten note, "To the best daddy in the world. I love you more than all the stars. Emma." When Victoria spotted the flowers while making one of her rare walks through the accounting department, something unexpected twisted inside her. She had been having a particularly difficult week. The board was pressuring her about the upcoming merger, her mother had called again about her perpetual single status, and the emptiness of her penthouse apartment had felt especially acute the night before. "They're for my daughter," Marcus explained, his voice steady despite his confusion at the CEO's sudden interest. "It's my birthday." Victoria's expression shifted, embarrassment briefly replacing the flash of what he now recognized as jealousy. "Your daughter," she repeated, as if processing this information for the first time. "Yes, Emma. She's 8. Marcus reached for his wallet and flipped to a photo of a gap-toothed little girl with his same warm brown eyes and curly hair. Victoria stared at the photo longer than politeness required. "I didn't realize you had a family," she said finally. "Just Emma," Marcus replied. "Her mother left when she was 2. It's been just us since then." The office around them had gone quiet, everyone pretending not to watch this unprecedented interaction between the CEO and the quiet accountant no one had ever seen her speak to before. "Happy birthday, Mr. Wright," Victoria said formally, straightening her posture and retreating behind her professional mask. But as she walked away, she paused at his cubicle entrance. "The quarterly reports you prepared last month were exceptional. I've been meaning to commend you." Marcus sat stunned as she disappeared down the hallway. In 3 years, Victoria Stone had never noticed his work, let alone commented on it. That evening, as Marcus helped Emma with her homework, he couldn't stop thinking about the strange encounter. "Something weird happened at work today," he told his daughter as they sat at their small kitchen table. "Did they like my flowers?" Emma asked, looking up from her math worksheet. "They did. Even my boss noticed them." "The scary lady in the big office?" Emma asked. Marcus had mentioned Victoria only a few times, but Emma had a way of remembering details. "She's not scary, just focused," Marcus corrected, though he'd certainly been intimidated by Victoria's unexpected attention. "Is she pretty?" Emma asked with the directness only children possess. Marcus hesitated. He had never really thought about Victoria that way. She had always been an untouchable figure of authority, not someone he would consider in personal terms. But the image of her standing by his desk came to mind, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, intelligent eyes that missed nothing, the slight flush on her cheeks when she realized her mistake. "Yes," he admitted. "I suppose she is." Emma nodded sagely. "Maybe she needs flowers too." The next morning, Marcus arrived at work to find a small gift box on his desk with a card that read simply, "Happy Birthday. V.S." Inside was an elegant leather-bound planner, the kind executives received, not mid-level accountants. His colleague Diane whistled low. "Looks like someone's been noticed by the Ice Queen." "Don't call her that," Marcus said automatically, surprising himself with his defensive tone. Over the next few weeks, Marcus found himself increasingly visible to Victoria. She would stop by his desk with questions that could easily have been emailed. She began requesting his presence in meetings where someone of his position wouldn't normally attend. The office rumor mill churned with speculation. "She's grooming you for promotion," Diane insisted. "She's setting you up to take the fall for something," warned Trevor from IT, always the pessimist. But Marcus sensed something else entirely, a loneliness in Victoria that mirrored his own, though their circumstances were vastly different. The turning point came when Marcus had to leave work suddenly after receiving a call that Emma had fallen during recess and needed stitches. He was halfway out the door when Victoria emerged from a conference room. "Mr. Wright? We have the budget meeting in 15 minutes. "I can't, my daughter's hurt. I have to go," he explained hurriedly. Instead of the disapproval he expected, Victoria's expression softened with concern. "Is she all right? Do you need a ride? My driver can get you there faster than a taxi." Before he could process her offer, she was already directing her assistant to cancel her meetings and leading him to the elevator. "Family comes first, Mr. Wright. Always." The ride to Emma's school was silent but not uncomfortable. Victoria sat beside him, occasionally checking emails on her phone but mostly just providing a calm presence as Marcus fought his parental panic. At the school, Victoria surprised him again by accompanying him inside rather than waiting in the car. When they reached the nurse's office, Emma was sitting bravely with an ice pack against her forehead, her eyes widening when she saw who was with her father. "Are you Daddy's boss?" she asked directly. Victoria nodded, kneeling down to Emma's level despite her expensive suit. "I am." "You must be Emma. Your dad talks about you all the time." "You're prettier than I thought you'd be," Emma declared, causing Marcus to flush with embarrassment. Victoria laughed, a genuine sound that Marcus realized he had never heard before. "Thank you. That's quite a bump you've got there. I was trying to do a cartwheel like Sophia can do. But I'm not very good at them yet." "Yet," Victoria repeated with approval. "That's the right attitude. I couldn't do cartwheels either when I was your age. It takes practice." As they drove Emma to the urgent care center for her stitches, Marcus watched in amazement as Victoria kept his daughter distracted with stories of her own childhood mishaps. By the time Emma's wound was treated, the little girl had extracted a promise from Victoria to come to her upcoming school play. "You don't have to do that," Marcus said quietly as they walked back to the car. "I know," Victoria replied. "I want to." That evening, after Emma was asleep, Marcus sat on his couch trying to make sense of the day. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Emma is a remarkable child. You're doing an excellent job, Marcus." "Victoria." It was the first time she had used his first name. The following weeks brought a gradual but unmistakable shift in their relationship. Victoria began joining them for occasional weekend outings, a trip to the museum, ice cream in the park. To Marcus's surprise, she seemed to genuinely enjoy these simple activities, admitting that she rarely took time for anything outside of work. "Why did you get so upset about the flowers that day?" Marcus finally asked one evening as they watched Emma feed ducks at the pond. Victoria was quiet for so long he thought she might not answer. "They reminded me that I had no one who would think to send me flowers," she finally said. And then I was ashamed of feeling jealous of something so lovely, a daughter's love for her father. Emma thinks everyone deserves flowers, Marcus said softly. Emma is wise beyond her years, Victoria replied, her eyes still on the little girl. At work, their professional relationship remained appropriate, though everyone had noticed the CEO's increased presence in the accounting department. Marcus received a promotion that he knew he had earned through his work, not through his personal connection to Victoria. The real test came when Emma fell ill with pneumonia and was hospitalized for a week. Marcus was beside himself with worry, taking leave from work to stay at her bedside. Victoria appeared the first evening, bringing Emma's favorite stuffed animal that Marcus had forgotten at home in his haste. "The company will survive without you for as long as Emma needs you," she assured him. "I've arranged for your projects to be covered." Throughout Emma's hospital stay, Victoria visited every evening after work, bringing books to read to Emma or simply sitting with Marcus during the long hours of waiting. On the third night, when Emma's fever finally broke and she fell into a healing sleep, Marcus found himself breaking down from the relief and accumulated stress. Without hesitation, Victoria pulled him into her arms, holding him as he released his fears. "She's going to be fine," she whispered against his hair. "You're not alone in this anymore, Marcus." When he looked up at her, the walls between CEO and employee, between two people from different worlds, had completely dissolved. Their first kiss was gentle, tentative, a beginning rather than a culmination. Emma's recovery brought a new phase in their evolving relationship. Victoria began spending more evenings at their modest apartment, helping with homework and learning to cook simple meals, a skill she had never bothered to develop in her career-focused life. "You've changed," her CFO commented after Victoria declined a non-essential weekend conference to attend Emma's soccer game. "I've expanded," Victoria corrected him. "There's a difference." 6 months after the flower incident, as they now called it, Victoria arrived at Marcus's desk with another bouquet of sunflowers. "These are from me this time," she said with a smile that the entire office now knew was reserved only for him and Emma. That evening, as the three of them prepared dinner together in Marcus's kitchen, Victoria watched Emma teaching her how to properly measure flour for cookies. The little girl who had once been intimidated by the scary lady, now chattered comfortably about school and friends, occasionally leaning against Victoria with the easy affection of a child who feels secure. "I never thought I could have this," Victoria admitted later, after Emma had gone to bed and she and Marcus sat close together on the couch. "Have what?" he asked, though he knew. "A family. I always thought it was a choice, career or personal life. I never imagined finding both, especially not with someone who worked for me." She laughed softly. "The board would have a fit if they knew." "Are you worried about that?" Marcus asked, suddenly concerned. Victoria shook her head. "I built that company from nothing. They need me more than I need them. And even if that weren't true." She took his hand, her expression serious. "I've learned what matters, Marcus. It took a bunch of sunflowers and a very wise 8-year-old to teach me, but I've learned." 1 year after the day Victoria had demanded to know who sent flowers to the invisible accountant, she stood nervously in Marcus's living room while Emma evaluated her appearance. "You look beautiful," the now 9-year-old assured her. "Daddy's going to cry when he sees you." Victoria smoothed down the simple white dress she had chosen for their small wedding ceremony. "Do you really think so?" Emma nodded confidently. "Happy tears though. Like when I made him that Father's Day card and wrote that I wanted you to be part of our family forever." Victoria knelt down, careful of her dress, and took Emma's hands. "You know, before I met you and your dad, I thought being successful meant having the biggest office and making the most important decisions. But you taught me that real success is having people to love who love you back." Emma beamed. "And now we get to be a real family." "We already are," Victoria assured her. "Today just makes it official." As they prepared to leave for the ceremony at the Botanical Gardens, Emma's choice, Victoria looked around the apartment that had become more home to her than her luxury penthouse ever had been. Her eye caught on the framed photo Marcus kept on the bookshelf, the three of them at Emma's school play, the first time they had been photographed together. Next to it sat a vase of sunflowers. Emma insisted on keeping them in the house year-round now, a reminder of how their family had begun. "Ready?" Emma asked, holding out her hand. Victoria took it, feeling a completeness she had never known was possible. "Ready." As they walked out together to meet Marcus and begin their new chapter, Victoria silently thanked the flowers that had unleashed not rage, but revelation, showing her what had been missing from her carefully constructed life all along. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories about unexpected love and family connections. Sometimes the things we think we want aren't what we truly need, and sometimes the most beautiful beginnings come from moments of vulnerability we never planned. Thank you for watching.